Hello everyone, welcome to our first math lesson. Our first topic we are going to learn is math and nature. Our central question for today is how can math be found in nature? In other words, we are going to investigate how we can express various aspects of nature using math. Regarding math, today's focus is patterns. In nature, there are various patterns that we can find, including symmetry, ratios, and sequence. These are the three main topics we'll be covering today. Let's first learn about symmetry. Symmetry refers to when one part of an image is the mirrored version of another part. Let's look at the square, for example. If we cut the square in half, the left part of the square is exactly the mirrored image of the right part. So, the square is symmetrical. Let's look at this quadrilateral. If you draw the same vertical line, the left part of the quadrilateral is not the same as the right part. And even if you try to draw any line that crosses this quadrilateral, no left or right part or top or bottom part is going to be the same. So this quadrilateral is asymmetrical. There are two main types of symmetry, which are line symmetry and point symmetry. Line symmetry is essentially what we saw beforehand. If we draw a line through a shape, one part of the shape is going to be the mirror image of the other part divided by the line. Point symmetry, on the other hand, is a bit different. If you look at this parallelogram, we can easily guess that it's not going to be symmetrical in terms of a line symmetry. However, if we plot a point in the middle and spin the parallelogram around by 180 degrees, it results in the exact same shape. This is called point symmetry. When we can spin a certain shape around the points, it will result in an identical shape. There are various examples of symmetry in nature. If you look at this butterfly over here, it has line symmetry with the vertical line. The fern over here also has line symmetry. The sunflower also has line symmetry, but it can also have point symmetry since the leaves and the seeds are all in a circular manner, and if you rotate it, it will probably look the same. So, to practice what we learned about symmetry, let's try to have a little game. We'll try to guess what shape will be on the other side. Please stop the video and try to think for a few seconds about what will be the answer. So here we'll be using line symmetry, and if you fill in the right side of the shape, we'll see a star. Let's look at the next problem. Here, the line of symmetry will be a horizontal line, which will result in an arrow if you fill in the bottom part. Let's take a look at the last example. Again, this is line symmetry, in which the vertical line is the line of symmetry. So, if you fill in the right side, you'll see an open book. Okay, let's move on to ratios. By definition, ratios is a relationship between two parts. If you look at this diagram over here, we can see that there are two parts of orange and one part of white. So the ratio between the area of orange and the area of white would be 2:1. The golden ratio is a specific type of ratio which has values 1 to 1.618. The golden ratio is a type of ratio commonly found in nature as well. If you look at the shell over here, we can simplify its shape by drawing a single line following its spiral structure. Then we can draw squares from small to big according to how the shape of the spiral goes. Here let's take a look at the side length of the largest square and the second largest square. Surprisingly, the ratio between these two sides are known to be 1 to 1.618, the golden ratio. This is going to be the same for the next two sets of squares, which can be the second largest square and the third largest square. The ratio is still going to be 1 to 1.618. This is possible because ratios are relationships, they're not absolute values. So let's try to apply our knowledge of the golden ratio to solve a little problem regarding this shell. What will be the length of the third largest box if the side length of the second largest box is 25 centimeters? Try to stop the video and solve for it by yourself for a few seconds. Here, let's try to use the golden ratio to solve this problem. We already assumed that the ratio of the side length of the third largest box and the second largest box will be 1 to 1.618. So this side length that we're trying to find would be 25 centimeters divided by 1.168. If you put in a calculator, it is approximately 15.45 centimeters. Here we are dividing 25 centimeters by 1.618 or multiplying 25 centimeters to 1 over 1.618 to get the third largest box's side length, because by definition ratio of 1 to 1.618 means that there will be 1.618 pieces of the third largest box's side length inside the second largest box's side length. It's like figuring out the side length when we know that 1.618 pieces of this side length of the third largest box makes up 25 centimeters. Okay, lastly, let's look at sequence. Sequence, by definition, is a list of numbers in specific order. Not always, but they sometimes have patterns as well. Let's look at a few examples. The first sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. This could be the most basic sequence you could find. And the pattern is it increases by 1. We'll look at the second example. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Here, the pattern will be that the numbers increase by 5 every time we move on to the next number. Just like how the golden ratio is a specific type of ratio that's commonly found in nature, there's also a specific type of sequence that's associated a lot with nature. This is called the Fibonacci sequence, and here is an example of it. Do you notice any patterns or something special about it? In the Fibonacci sequence, the term, or a specific number in the sequence, is obtained by adding the two previous numbers of that sequence. For example, since 2 is the third term of the sequence, it equals 1 plus 1. Then the fourth number in the sequence, or fourth term, will be 1 plus 2 equals 3, and so on. So where did this Fibonacci sequence appear? One of the most famous examples is bunnies. Yeah, bunnies. So imagine a pair of bunnies. We will say that there's one pair, so we can say the number's 1. When these bunnies reproduce and have offspring, we'll also have 2 bunnies, which will result in one pair again. However, in the next generation, there will be 4 bunnies, which results in 2 pairs. In the next generation, we'll have 6 bunnies, 3 pairs. Next, we'll have 10 bunnies and 5 pairs. Of course, this is not the definite way of how bunnies or other animals reproduce, but this is a nice simulation or model to represent how sequences can be found in nature. So let's try to find out if we can use our knowledge of sequence to solve problems as well. The question is, can you find the next number of bunnies in this sequence? This is a sequence. Try to stop this video for a few seconds and figure out the pattern as well as the answer. Okay, so if you take a careful look at the sequence, you can notice it is another form of the Fibonacci sequence. For example, 3 plus 3 is 6. The next step, 3 plus 6 is 9. 6 plus 9 is 15, and so on. So to find the next number of bunnies, we will have to add up the last 2 terms or numbers we see in the sequence, which are 15 and 24. If we add them up, it's going to be 39. Okay, so that wraps up today's lesson. The main point I wanted to tell you today is how various mathematical concepts can be conveyed or found in nature as well, which explains why math is actually a pretty useful and realistic tool and concept to learn. There is a worksheet uploaded on the website regarding the 3 topics that we discussed today. Please try to solve it if you want additional practice, and see you next time.